Good morning, everyone. Here's your weather and hazard briefing for Wednesday, May 18th. We've got a return of showers, some high winds, and colder temperatures back our way, and this will continue as we head into at least the end of this week, maybe the early part of the weekend. The day is the last day until we get to next week. The temperatures will be running above average for this time of year. Those winds return later today, and they pretty much continue nonstop into tomorrow evening. Temperatures go from about 10 to 15 degrees above average to about 10 to 20 degrees below average for Thursday and Friday. It still looks like the showers will be mainly in the higher elevations. It's going to be a dry period for the Magic Valley. Maybe just a few showers still in the South Hills and along the I-15 corridor. It does look wet but warmer as we head into next week. Satellite shows we have clouds moving in from the northwest. That moisture, the deeper moisture is still arriving. That'll bring the first little bit of shower activity in here later on this afternoon across our northern areas. Looking at that weather risk outlook, windy conditions, there might be a little bit of blowing dust, localized blowing dust across the Snake Plain. Also into portions of the Magic Valley. I think the bigger impacts will be for on American Falls Reservoir and up into the Arco Desert and northern Idaho Falls for the wind. For tomorrow, we have higher impacts for those winds, a little more widespread, encompassing pretty much all of the Snake Plain and the Magic Valley, down into the South Hills and also down towards Soda Springs, McCammon. Some pretty high winds in those areas. Like I said, a lot of shower activity, and we're not expecting a lot of precipitation. We're kind of not necessarily focusing on that because there's not a lot of moisture coming with this event. Those showers, again, mainly for the highlands. We go into Friday. Again, showers and maybe a few thunderstorms in the highland areas, maybe something in the South Hills, and maybe around Pocatello and Idaho Falls. We have the wind highlighted for higher impacts across the Snake Plain, and this is for a pretty good northerly northeast wind event impacting folks that venture out on American Falls Reservoir. And you see the trend continuing into the weekend. If we see showers and storms, they'll be mainly in the higher elevations. Otherwise, really no impacts expected for our area heading into the weekend other than that. Looking at how things are going to progress during the day today, we go into this afternoon. You can see those showers first moving into Lemhi County, the Central Mountains late this afternoon, then slowly dropping south and eastward into this evening. And you'll notice most of this falls in the Central Mountains over around Driggs, the Tetons, Yellowstone, Island Park. As we go into the overnight hours, that trend will continue. You see a little bit of a band developing again along the I-15 corridor into the southeast highlands. That band sticks around for a little while, but pretty much not much going on except over on the Wyoming border tomorrow morning and across the South Hills before we see another little surge of shower activity. And you'll see where that's falling. Eastern Highlands, the Southeast Highlands, Pocatello, back towards Burley and Oakley as well, and some instability showers developing up across the Central Mountains. But the bulk of the moisture, like we said, it's not a lot, but where it falls for tomorrow or for Thursday afternoon will be across mainly the eastern and southern highlands as we go into the afternoon hours tomorrow. And that trend will continue as we go into Friday as well. Now, let's take a look at where we're going to be wind-wise for today. We talked about these winds. Here this afternoon, wind gusts out in the Arco Desert in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range, and you'll notice up along the ridge tops into the Central Mountains, similar wind gust speeds expected. Now, other areas running about 30 to 40 miles per hour. And going into tonight, we continue to see the gusty winds continue across the area, spreading onto the south as well. Taking a look as where we're going to be for temperature-wise today, just a little bit cooler, but still running above average. 60s in the higher elevations, 70s maybe if we can get a little bit of a downslope wind today. That's not likely, but we might see some upper 70s along the 84-86 corridor. Looking at winds for tomorrow morning, you'll notice the winds shift to the south as we go through the day, and pretty widespread gusts, 40 to 50 miles per hour in those areas, and that continues into tomorrow evening. Temperatures for tomorrow, you'll notice we're back into the 40s and 30s in the mountains, 50s for the valleys. I don't think we'll see anybody. Maybe Preston and down towards Holbrook, we might eke out 60 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to switch back to something else here really quick. A lot of times we give you an official forecast, but sometimes we can look at, what's the potential of seeing some higher wind speeds. So looking at things like higher wind speeds. These are the wind gusts for this afternoon. They're across the Arco Desert over towards Idaho Falls. These numbers aren't the wind speeds. This is the probability or the chance of seeing winds over 41 knots. That's puts us about 45 miles per hour. Gusts, 48 knots puts you right about 55, 56, 57 miles per hour. Not a non-zero chance, but not likely. So wind gusts across the Arco Desert up to north of Idaho Falls, generally today probably running about, in excess of 45 miles per hour. Now, we'll go to tomorrow, and you'll notice those numbers are higher. These are, again, gusts over 45 miles per hour, and we're talking percentages, probabilities in a lot of areas, pretty likely. We're talking 75, 85, 95% in a lot of areas, so it's going to be a lot more windy tomorrow. And looking at these wind gusts for tomorrow, there is the potential we have in the forecast, those gusts in the some areas over 45 miles per hour. Some gusts, we may see some gusts easily approaching that 55, 57 mile an hour threshold, the high end of wind advisory over the higher elevations of the Central Mountains and a good chunk of the Snake Plain, Magic Valley, and the higher elevations south of the Snake Plain. And just kind of give you an idea, 48 knots puts you much, much higher. That puts you above 6, looking at that. That's a similar speed, we'll go to 56 knots, which is about 65 miles per hour. And you'll notice it's a non-zero chance. It's not very likely, but who's to say we can't see some isolated gusts above 60 miles per hour across portions of the Snake Plain and Magic Valley and some of the surrounding higher elevations. So we may see winds higher than what we have currently in the forecast. It's something we're going to be definitely watching as we go through this period. Moving on to Friday, less wind, although we are looking at northerly winds across the Snake Plain affecting the American Falls Reservoir. Temperatures for Friday very similar to Thursday. You'll notice we're not looking at much difference except maybe some warmer temperatures in the higher elevations of the Central Mountains. Going into Saturday, we have a slow rebound that continues into Sunday. Maybe a few folks pushing closer to 70 degrees once again. It'll still be showery, but that warming trend is a certainty in the forecast as we head into the weekend. Like we said, it's going to be warm today, and then we have much cooler weather returning. Going to be pretty windy, especially tomorrow across the area. And with that wind, we didn't really talk about it much, but the blowing dust potential is there, especially north of Idaho Falls and in places that have recently plowed. But the higher impacts from dust may be for tomorrow with those higher winds. Showers mainly for the higher elevations, not expecting a lot of rain or snow across the region where we do see moisture falling, and then we continue with that slow warming trend and shower activity mainly in the mountains into the early part of next week. Have a great day, and do stay safe out there, everyone.